I'm Professor Wally Jay, and I'd like to explain about my creation, the small circle Jujitsu. It was once called small circle theory. It's not a theory anymore. It's a claimed and accredited system taught all over the world. To explain what the small circle Jiu-Jitsu is all about is a two-way action, pull and push. And the traditional way is this way, one-way action. That's where I learned it. You get all the energy come from one source. Instead of two sources, you pull and push. In this case, instead of this push and action, it's pull and push, see? Up, up. The most important thing about small circle is to try to create a smallest tightening circle as possible. It's not a big circle or a small circle, really, it's a tightening circle, so you must remember that. And you must, in this case, the smaller circle, the less room to escape, the quicker the action is done, you can subdue the person much faster. And you must try to put all the energy into one little spot. The small circle depends on the application of techniques on the weak parts of the body. Like the joints are very weak, nerve centers, the tendons are very weak, like this. Tendon of the tricep, these are very weak parts. This is called a tendon of the tricep right here, 1 inch from the point of the elbow. If you squeeze, always two ways, not one way. Not pushing only, pull up too. And these, push down, pull up. It's always two-way action. The two-way action is not only evolution, it's a revolutionary move. It doesn't take much power, so little effort. As you push down, this way is harder. When you lift up, it's much more effective. All these exercises must be done to learn how to create power. This wrist extension exercise. I do these over here. This is called a bent elbow wrist lock. I aim for the center of the body. I push it. More pain. I just drive this in like throwing a punch. These exercises are very important. From up here, it looks like this way. Two-finger technique, see? Watch. So a little effort in applying the technique, see? And again. The next exercise is like turning a faucet and a screwdriver. This is called a wrist lock throw right here. Pain must be already pulled right in here. Like a faucet, you turn, and simultaneously you turn like a screwdriver, see? This way. Up. The next exercise is this movement exercise called the heavy palm. Let's say that he holds me here now. If I just push down this way, I'm using one way. If I lift this up, two-way action. See how important it is? Instead of pushing down this way, one way, this is this way. This comes down, this comes up. Person is helpless. Now, the most important principles of the small circle Jiu-Jitsu is balance. Without balance, you lose your strength, because every time you walk or you stumble, you need a lot of strength to keep your balance. The more off balance you are, the weaker you get, because you need your body to recover so you need strength to recover your balance. When in application, I never do this because he's not so off balance as I bring in front of me. See his hands right in front of me. I like to keep the guy off balance because I have my maximum strength and this is the minimum strength. So I keep him off balance. He can't hit me from here. If he did, I just pull in. I always keep the person off balance. And like fighting, always maintain your balance. You cannot overreach, overextend. You cannot overextend. So you get your maximum power from being on good balance. Imbalance throws you off because you lose part of your strength, trying to recover your balance. Mobility and stability are very important. Like when I apply techniques like this, you see I have much mobility. I don't depend on stability. I don't need stability. A lot of people go into stance this way, unnecessary, because it takes so little effort to get a person weak. See? So mobility is very important when you want to move around. Stability when you kick or punch. Like, if you kick, he needs stability. See? If he was kicking me on ice or punching me, he couldn't have much power. See? So I try to make him lose his stability by, no, he can't kick. Too much stability. See? So I'll move the person. And even if he did hit me, it wouldn't be much power to it. Another very important principle of the small circle jiu-jitsu is avoiding head-on collision of forces. Person pushes you, never push back, blend. To illustrate this, we do in the hammerlock. A person shows me. See? To do it slowly now, he pushes me. I get out of the way. I never meet his force head-on. We'll do it from this angle over here. He pushes me. See? I'm never in his way. One more time. I let him pass. I never stand in front of him because if I do this, he'll knock me. So I move one side, see? See, I keep him off balance all the time. You notice that? It's so important. Another important principle is distraction. He chokes me. His mind is here. Up. See, one more time. His mind is here. I take right in his sternum. Down. Up. Focusing is another principle that is very important, the proper focusing. And this, let's call this bent elbow wrist lock. I always focus this to the center of the body from the throat to the solar plexus right here. If you don't get it properly done, or this way you focus there, it's not going to hurt. Or you turn and focus there, it's not going to hurt. Must be the center of the body right here. He's under control right now. See, I'm still focusing right into him. If he turns his hand this way, he may escape. But I will change the technique. Energy transfer is another important principle. Like, let's say I'm applying this. This is called the reverse arm bar. If I did it from here this way, the transmission of energy is too far. But if I place my palm here to here, it's a shorter distance. Much easier to put it on, much more force. Another thing is, if you put it here, internally, his energy will come this side to meet his forces. So he can resist me. But if I place my palm right here, his energy will come down to here to resist me, while everything from the elbow is weak. There's no force there. So, got him under control. Okay, create a base is another thing that's very important. That it's a new terminology I have introduced. I've used that, but I never thought about it as an important principle. I was in a foreign country once and I had a girl whose finger could touch here. I was teaching this technique. It didn't hurt her because she had this part. There's a lot of play. So they asked me, what would you do? I cupped it. I created a base. Right away, there's all play was taken. She was in pain. You can create a base by fingers or pin to your body or your leg or the mat. Up, up. So create a base is very important. And when you create a base, take all the play away. It doesn't take much. And when you bring a person down flat on the ground is a base. One thing you got to do is just push the palm down to the mat and apply your technique. Sticking is another important principle. Once you get a person going, always stick with him. Okay? Never lose him. Years ago, I used to do the hammerlock in this position like this. I used to put a hammerlock on, When it didn't work, I would come out and I had to release and grab. So I knew I wasn't following my principles of sticking. So later I changed. I found a new way right here. The way I came in, that's the way I go out. See, this way, sticking. You always stick to the guy. You never lose him, see? Right here. Ooh. Up. It's very important to stay with the person all the time. Never release, because the moment you release pressure, you don't stick to him, that's his time to escape, because when there's no pain, he can work his way out. But when there's pain, constant pain, he can't do anything, see? This way I move him. Up. There. Up. Notice I stick with him all the way through. Thank you. Rotational momentum. In rotational momentum, instead of going linear, you go in a motion of circles. You can improve it, increase your speed all the time. And I always, when I get a man, when I change, I always catch him coming up and on his way down. I never transfer from here. See, right here, down. Always in a circle. See, nose all in a circle all the time. Up. Oh, missed. That's all right. Up, up. Circle movement, watch. See? 2 points. Right here, right here. The last principle is the transitional flow. You must have the transitional flow, which you just saw I did. Bring the guy up, bring him down. You must continue. You must be constant pain all the time. Before you can do the transitional flow well, you must be able to do all the principles of the ones I just shown, the 9 principles. Once you get that, it's easy. Then you can float with the guy. Ooh. Up. Or else I may have to, change the choke. So many things you can do, see. I also do a lot of throwing too. Thank you. Safety measures are very important in learning martial arts to prevent injuries. When you get a person down on the mat, let's say, and he taps, release pressure, but hang on the hold, because it's very important. And make sure the mat is clear before you throw a person. But always heed the person's gestures. If he taps, release pressure, be sure, because he can cause a dislocation. There's 3 types of consequences. You can apply a hold, and when you release, there's no injury. You can apply a hold and slap it on, and when you release, there's pain and injury. Or the third one, the dislocation is worse. So always be prepared to play safe. And in learning, always heed the warning of the other person. And when you get a person on the ground, always make sure that he's clear from others so that others don't land on him. And if you do throwing, you make sure that the mat is clear so your person won't land on another person. I'd like to explain about weaknesses of the human body. Jiu-Jitsu people always take advantage of the weaknesses. The human body is full of weaknesses. When you go to a gymnasium, watch the people lifting weights, it's a sign of beauty. You can see a lot of muscular definition on the person, and it takes a lot of diligent work to build it up. So you see the people looking in front of the mirror and at their bodies. But when you go, a martial artist sees it differently. He sees the weak points of the body. The muscles are big here, or big arms, big triceps, but the tendon is very big, and that's the very weak part of the body. So as a martial artist, we see it differently. Some weakness of the body, let's say the hands and the fingers, the cuticle right here. And when you apply it, always push and pull. Pull up, push down. Don't only push down. A lot of people hold this way. It doesn't work, you say. They're only pushing down. But if they squeeze it, it'll work. Okay. The joints are very weak, of course. It doesn't take much strength. See? Look. The thumbs are very weak. You spread the thumbs or split the fingers, it hurts. These are weak points of the body right here. Holds me right here. Hold, okay, this way, turn it up. So when you do, drive with the knuckles right here. See, drive it down and lift this hand up. Don't go with it, lift it up. To make it work best is to drive it in tight and then work from there. Don't work from the surface. Dig in, then you dig. All the joints are weak. This is called the tendon of the tricep. It's a very weak part. On the nerve right here. See? Right here, you can, these over here. You can catch right in here. Weak points of the body will be under the arms over here. You strike the ribs. The spine is a very weak part of the body, so be sure, don't try to strike the spine because you can really disable a person, maybe permanent injuries. Under the ears right here, see? It makes the person stand, see? Down the right here. You lower the person, the ears, it comes up again. Of course, there's other weak points like you're bending this way, you may dislocate the shoulders. Movements, weaknesses too. And of course hitting the jaw, the nose, poke the eyes. But the eyes are very bad thing to do because it's very serious charges. Though you see Wing Chun do a lot of eye poking, but for a very simple altercation like that, you poke a guy's eyes, it may cause blindness. And it's a very serious charge legally. I explained it, but this is one of my best techniques right here because the sternum is a cartilage here and you just drive, poke your knuckles in right here this way, when you need one, then you work your way in. Of course, the foot, the knees are very weak, you know, and these parts are very weak. Okay. The toes, the shin bones, you step on these over here. Stomping is good, you know. Okay, down on the mat. These are very, very important. The foot, see, you can, right here, weakness right here, in here. Of course, groin area, you can kick, you know. These are very, very weak too, see. Or the hands, this way. You can stomp on it right here. Right here, over this way. These are very weak, see, watch. Tendon of the tricep. I lift with this foot, or stomp it. Hair pull. When you grab the hair, never pull this way. Always, remember the heavy palm I explained about. Heavy palm right here, see? Grab this way, top here and the side doesn't matter right here. And you can turn the person, see? Okay. You can use pain for distractions. Grabbing it. See, if a person chokes you and you only try to grab your hand this way, it's pretty hard. But because his concentration, his mind is right here. See? I got him because he thought about himself now. See, while I bring him down on the mat. Up, up, up. The next series will be joint locking techniques. In joint locking techniques, don't use a lot of strength because the more power you use, your opponent can feel you and he has more chance to escape. And you can't feel him. If you're relaxed, it's easy to feel a person. You can know his intentions, but if you tighten up, he can feel you easy and he can tighten up too. So always relax. Notice how calm I am, relax, you see. Now with the two-way action again, remember that push down, lift up. Okay, in wrist locking techniques, same thing, you have to be relaxed. And this is called the wrist lock throw. The pressure is right here and right here. So you pull in this part right here by the base of the thumb and push with the thumb on this side between the two fingers. There's a groove right here, you can do this, or laid right over here. But this action is the faucet screwdriver that I mentioned earlier. See? Slow motion, and do it this way, you still fall. Up. Unlike the old way, from here to here, no pain, and then this gets loaded in the elbow, he falls. So you want to eliminate that dead time from here to here by just pulling it down. It goes up. Yep. This wrist lock throw technique is probably the oldest technique since the beginning of times, I think. Because man has always been attacked, and he starts to grab, and gradually this evolves. And everyone does a little different way. Some push it on the knuckles over here. I've seen all kinds of ways, this way. They do it this way, but I like to overlap my fingers. So it's done this way. When it reaches for you, as soon as you feel the thumb, the base of the thumb right here, time to grab. This way. You move the thumb slightly over and overlap your fingers. But remember, this is the key point now. If you pull down, down you go. But don't push. Because from push dead time from here until this gets loaded in the elbow, then he'll fall. So the man can escape, but as soon as this is done right here, pull in front of you, you keep the person off balance, you see. But you put this way, the man is still on balance and he can hit you yet. So I always try to keep the person on my side right here, see. His weight is right now, right here, ready to fall over. See? Up. You can use this for right here. Wrist locking, see how you can throw a person, choking, right here. This is one of the most commonly used technique. The next technique is just the opposite. They call it reverse wrist lock. This is done reverse wrist lock. Right here. If a person pushes you and you use your left hand on the same side, the opposite side, you'd end up with the wrist lock throw. But if you use the other hand, the cross body hold, you end up with this called reverse wrist lock. And this technique, in order to apply it, you have to watch. Don't apply it this way because your fingers face up, he can bend his elbows. Bend your elbows. Okay? He can bend his elbows. But if you turn so that his fingers face like the direction of his head, his joint is locked. And the key is right here again. I dig in and push with my thumb. And I try to always confine it to as smallest base as possible. If you try to confine it to a wide base, the energy dissipates on a wider area. In other words, you converge your energy this way, but from the center you should converge it to the smallest spot possible, which is right here. And it doesn't take much strength. Now watch, I'm going to focus towards his head. Very simple. You watch. This can be done. You choke me. Slow motion. Distraction. Have a person. Drive towards his head. Use your extension. Remember I showed you that? Okay. From here, if you relax, you can feel what he does, and you can always interchange so easy. See? Back again. So remember, the key point is keep his fingers the direction of the head, not this way, because he can bend his elbows. See? But he bent, I just changed technique, doesn't matter. But when you're learning, you should learn each technique well so that you don't have to make any transitions unless you need to. So this is right here. Now this, watch. Fingers pull down and drive to the center of the body. There's another wrist lock throw, which is very seldom used. These are metacarpals right here. These two bones are called metacarpals. And when you do this wrist lock throw, don't push down, straight down, this way. When I do mine, as soon as you reach me, right here, all the way down to the ground. It's much faster fall than the other one, but you've got less chance to recover. Because if you do this way, you see, it's not as fast as this one right here. You push the metacarpals right down to the ground at this direction, right here. And I also got another hold on, which I'll come to a little later. Because once you get a person on the ground and you try to apply the hold, it's too late. He can pull his hand back, retract. But if you got him in the air, right here, bent elbow wrist lock. It's a very painful hold. But the most important thing to remember is to make sure that this part faces the center of the body right here. This part. And drive to the center of the body. So you can use this in many ways. This way, or choke, see? Here. And keep it bent. And there's many ways of doing it. Now, I can hold him this way, and they call this Indian burn. You grab this side and twist opposite way. It's one of the most painful holds there is. You're displacing the muscles and at the same time put pressure on the joint. You got the pressure here now. Or else, you can put your right here on the radial nerve. Put your fingers here and squeeze. The reason why you do that is so that he doesn't lift his arm up. See? Because to ease the pain, he has to lift his arm up this way. So you want to bring him back. But true martial artist, an expert on the small circle jiu-jitsu, I think he does that. Thank you. Goes into another hole. But learn this one well, and right here, over here, or else the person is really strong and you can rotate this part. This doesn't take strength now. A lot of people are using a lot of power. More strength you use, the less effective it be, and he can feel you. Right here, I just bend his elbow slightly and rotate right down along his forearm. And I'm bending forward. When I'm bending forward, this part is on my body. Okay. Lock it. Only thing I gotta do is bend. I make sure that the wrist touches here. Good morning. So this is called a bent elbow wrist lock, which is a very important technique, and I think this can create a lot of pain. And from this you can change to many other techniques, which will come a little later. So the bent elbow wrist lock hold is a very sensitive technique, and it can be used for many other places, but which you'll learn a little later. Another one I created, this one. I used to teach big people, and their hands were so big I couldn't grip good, so I would grip them this way and squeeze my fingers and the back of my palm right here tight, see? This way. See? Same thing over here. See? When you do the bent over wrist lock hold, be sure and keep your fingers on this side of his hand, not on the wrist. But when you do the two-finger wrist lock hold, always keep it on the fingers. Don't keep it on part of the hand this way. It fortifies the person. It makes him feel stronger. But you hold here, over here, and over here. Two key points: the fulcrum, the lever. See? Doesn't take any strength at all. Down, see? And if you jam it to the center of the body, it can cause a dislocation because he's very weak right now. And always go slowly, easy. Yeah, notice how slowly I can control him. So this is called a two-finger wrist lock hold. You notice how simple it is right here? Well, this one is this way right here. Push and go over your hand. Drive down the fingers into his nerve right here. This one right here. Push down, push up in a circular manner. Don't let the elbow come up. It comes up, you can adjust. When you're learning, you probably have to do this, but if he raises, I can adjust, you see? That's being more experienced, so you can compensate no matter what he does. See? The next technique is a hammerlock. A hammerlock is a really interesting technique, and is used by many law enforcement people, but I see a lot of them that really don't know how to use a hammerlock. They use a lot of power. If you get the key points, you know it works. Key point is right here. Right in here. Lock it right by the joint. Okay, person pushes me. See right here? I place his hand right here. right on the joint now, not on this side, this side. In other words, if he bends his elbow, this will be right in here. Okay, one more time. Right here, see? Now, this, most people end up, but it should be right in the groove here. I keep my hand here to prevent him from bending down to ease the pressure. He wants to feel less pain, he bends down, see? So what I do, I use this to keep him up, or drive this in the brachial nerve, right here. I always keep the guy up, or hold him over here, or his collar, or choke. But the pain is right here, watch. As I drive this down, I lift it up. Another way, I may bring it backwards instead. Hold this opposite way. So this hammerlock hold is a good hold if you have it right. Otherwise, if you hold here, he can counter me by turning this hand. You see right here? Turn this way, he got me. So what I do is, I hold this high enough, he can't do that, see? But if you hold this low, he can turn right there and catch you. But raise his pot slightly, and remember the exercise I showed you, this one? This exercise. So when I go in right here, I lift as high as I can. It's tight already. And when you walk, I see a lot of bullies, they follow you. Yeah. So you move this way. You should catch right here first and knock this hand off, because if this hand is strong, you can't knock it off. I just, and put it right in the joint right here, right in the joint. From this angle, I sort of knock him off, always by the elbow, not the shoulders. The elbow's right, and knock this part off, and right here, see? Hold this. So he cannot bend. You hold this way, or it's a choke to here, doesn't matter. Use this. Now, cut into the joint. Now, get the person on the ground. You put a hammer. This is what they use in handcuffing, hammerlock, see? Over here. You can put pressure right here on the guy. Place your knee right here. And you want to bring his hand to the back so you can handcuff him. And if he refuses, because you'll get a hard time, because a lot of people try to grab his hand and he can't. But it's so simple, just at the cuticle, just squeeze, two-way action. Bring your hand back, please. Bring your hand back. You got a person. A hammerlock, you handcuff the person. And always trying to, if you want pain, push in and lift out. So, give an example now. If I push this down and lift out at this angle, because of dislocation on your shoulder right here. So that's why you also have to go slowly, see? Now you can control the person. Next technique is the chicken wing. Chicken wing is a hold that you apply either standing or on the mat. Now we got a person down on the ground right here. I move this side. Chicken wing is done this manner right here. Control his knuckles so he can use it. Up, 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 up. From a standing position, here's how it looks right here. Before you apply it, put pressure and you can go into the hole. Now, you must put it right across the knuckles on the wrist, right here, on your wrist. This is a must now. Bend it this way. See the curve of my hand? And push against the knuckles. If you don't push, you'll trap your fingers there. You trap my thumb right here. Okay. But if I push, now you can't trap. I can take my time, push up, and lock it to my side. This is one of the most painful hold. What you do is push in with this part of your hand, so the thumb side, and the fingers push out. It's locked very tight. Notice I always grab it right around the thumb. And a lot of styles, they hold this way. They push in. It's a one-way action, but this is two ways. Push in, pull out. See? Now he's in intense pain. He can't hit you. And notice that I lock him right here on my body. So as I'm pushing this hold, I'm pushing my body too, you see. I push my body to him, I push his hand in, and do the two-way action over there, and there's a two-way action here. Push in, tight. Yeah. Now the submission is this way. Push in with your thumb, this part of your thumb. Push in, and pull out the fingers of the thumb right here. See the fingers? Pull out. I got him tight now, you see. But if I want to throw him, I change the angle from this angle to this angle, see? I push in this way, pull out this way. Up, up. Right here. So I got them secure right here. Push in, pull out. Now, change the angle this way. Up, up. This way. Applying the chicken wing is a good come-along hold. You can really hold a person and still have one hand free. Let's say you got the person on the ground right here. Now, when you want to apply the hold, the easiest way to do is lower this down and lift up. Now, commonly, people do this. It's a hard way. From over here, just hold over here. Up, up, push down on this part. You got him locked. Lock on your side here. He can't jam in the ribs. Don't be afraid because the pain is too intense. And it works this way again, I reiterate. Fingers pull in this way. This part pull in this way. Or this way, either way. This side of the thumb push against the back of the knuckles. This one pull this way, so it's acting this way. Throwing is this way. Push to this part, pull. So you get a circular movement. The next is the pistol grip. Pistol grip, you got a person down on the ground, you want him up. It's a very simple one to learn. You put pressure, don't hold the fingertips, hold close to the joint right here. And walk in the direction where his feet is. Okay, you got a person down here, and you got a hold, and you try to move him that way, he can't move that way. And I've seen that done already, and the guy is getting angry because the guy doesn't follow his command. He can't walk on his back or his head, always move the direction of his toes, see? And in application of this technique, just from standing right here, and keep this on your side over here. Notice this is right here. This is very important because in case he try to hit me, I turn this way. Put pressure here and over here. Because if I don't, he can hit me if I can't, but if I turn this way, lean on this, you see, fingers facing there, he's down. So that's why it's pretty safe, this whole technique. That's all you need, see? And with this technique, be sure that his thumb doesn't touch here. Some people are so flexible they can touch here and don't hurt them. If that happens, bring it outside, not in towards the back of the hand. Get him under control. From this technique, he try to hit you, you can press his two bones again, see? Up. His two bones I showed you. Or else you can switch. Or you can go to this technique. So this is a very important come-along technique. But as soon as you put a hold on, you make sure the person's thumb won't touch on this side of the hand. If he does, bring it outside, or switch immediately. The person grabs you this way, turn up, this is underhand wrist lock right here. Now this way, one hand on this. It doesn't have to be two hands to apply the hold. With one hand, you can turn it up and grab this way. Grab over here and grab, see, towards his thumb. The circular action is this way. So when I do this, I pull in this way, this part, and push with this, and push into his gut. Remember about imbalance, off balance in the person. Always make him off balance. The more off balance he is, the less chance he can attack you. So just by turning this thumb and pushing this part over here, and I push into his gut, he can hit you from here. There's no choice but submit. And you can put pressure right over here, it'll hurt more. But be very careful. Okay, this is done from a two-hand hold. It can also be done from one hand too, same thing. Or else you can grab the person's hand, okay? Grab his hand, turn it up, got him over here, push this to his gut, and put pressure on the two metacarpals I told you right here. These two bones over here. Yeah. If you want him to fall, press on it, he'll fall. One more time, see? Step back and grab, or step back and make room. Don't try to reach under here, you can't. Just turn up this way. Or else just ask the person to come along. He doesn't come, just flip this up. I got him complete control. Even he lifts the hand up. I know he can't hit me. I'd like to show you about finger locking. When I was learning Jiu-Jitsu about 40-some years ago, we used to grab a 4-finger hold. And they tell us to put the hand here so you can control the person. But I found out that this wasn't good because if I bend my elbow here, I'd lose the hold. But if I kept it away, you bend your elbow now. It hurts you more. So I got to disbelieve in this technique. And also about supporting this. It only helps the person fortify his move. So I tried with 3 fingers. The person got weaker. And then I went 2 fingers is much weaker. 1 finger, the weakest of all. But the 1 finger, you haven't got a good hold because you can twist around in this circle. You see how hard to retain the hold. But if you create a triangle, a rectangular move right here, a base, and get this finger out, he couldn't attack you, see, because the pain is so intense. And this finger must be out because this bone over here was pushed against this side over here. Now, I hold this way, he can spin his hand out and pull the red out, see, this way. But if I brought this, it's locked, he can't do nothing. It's impossible. So how you get these techniques is right here, see. Or else from this technique, I just shift to 2-finger holds. Now this one, right bend, right here. Okay. And always stay on this side of your attacker. Never stay on the same side with him in here, because he may hit you. Always move this way, see. If I get a hold of here, I'll always try to stay never this way. I always bring it this way. Because this way, he had a harder time hitting you, see. And don't be afraid to be close to the person, because he can reach you, because you have all the control. It's only a slight turn, you got him under control. While here, he has to hit you from 24 to 36 inches. He can change his mind really fast. So the finger locking techniques are really good. That's why I've mixed this to this one, to finger locking technique. This is the 2-finger technique, and this is called the 2-finger reverse technique. Okay. So when I apply the hold over here, I may change it to a 2-finger reverse. So here. This is a very helpless position now. Only thing I got to do is change the angle of the hand this way and push it up. Look how little effort. I'm not turning this, only do the movement here. But if I turn this, I can cause a dislocation really fast. So always do it slowly, experiment. Okay. So finger locking techniques are really important. You can subdue a big person and he can't do anything. And when you apply, be sure and do it only on the fingers, not on the hand. But if you got it on the hand, just slide away. And if you're still on the hand, that's all right. Don't try to change hold, you can't. That means you got to push more on the lever. When I first started, I used to hold this way. Then I used to press here, the person would tap, or this way. So why not get it in the beginning? So when you get this hold over here, see, get it in the beginning. See all the fingers controlling these 2 fingers, instead of just like this. I do a lot of finger techniques because it works good. Like, for instance, I do this technique over here. This is the way I learned it. But then I started to bend the finger back, and I was really surprised that a few other people did the same thing too. But I found out that I changed the angle now. Instead of bringing it back, I bring it back this way. Hurts more. That's where the trial and error came in. So you experiment this way. Everybody does that. After a while, they figure, well, I can get hold of the fingers. But if you bring it inward, it's a little twist made a difference. So finger techniques always, you can play with it, see? Like, for instance, I got this finger technique. I can bring it right down to the ground this way. Or else I can change the angle over here, see? Instead of the circle this way, I change the circle this way. See I still have the control. So the angle is very important, the angle of the circle, the way you put it. I'd like to caution you about the high tolerance on joint locks. Some people, you can put the hold on and they can take a lot of pain. And they don't feel it sometimes. But if you apply it and you jam the technique, and he may not feel hurt, but days later his hands will be swollen. So there are people that with really high tolerance, and you must understand that they're not trying to make you look bad, but they just don't feel no pain. There are people like that. So always be aware of such people and never try to jam because it doesn't work. Because when it's all tight, you feel it tight, stop. Any hold, when it's tight, don't jam it further because you can really hurt a guy. Because a lot of people have the high tolerance, they don't feel anything. But the next day, or even that day they feel it, or a couple of days later, and the hands all swollen, the fingers all swollen, so you must always have consideration for your partners. But be aware that the person is not trying to make you look bad, but he just doesn't feel any pain. Okay, in finger locking techniques, let's say a person points his finger at you. You can put a lot of pressure against his joint right here. Turn it, palm face down, and you got him under control. He can't hit you. So the best place to control a person is to be on his stomach. He can't move, he has no mobility because he can't walk around, he can't do anything. And he's the weakest, he can't defend himself. And if you get a person in this position, you got him. And the finger positions, be sure and pull in at fulcrum and aim for the center of the body over here. Doesn't take any strength at all. A 5-year-old kid can subdue a big man in this position. See how simple it is? You got him? It could look like this, so you can see it better. You see a hole over here? Push in with this, pull with a web of your hand, and lay this on your palm. I don't like to do it this way. I see a lot of people do it that way. You need too much strength. When your whole hand can do the job for you, instead of your thumbs here. And this is, you secure it right here in the palm of your hand. This way, I've seen him slip out. But this way, you never slip out, see? You got him? If you really want to hurt him, push down the base of the finger to the mat. The intense pain comes on. Now you want him up, you turn this angle, up, up, up. Just hold this up. See? And this angle is this way. This way, right here. See? This way, circle. Got him under control, you can leave him right here. He can't hit you. Hit you, only thing you got to do is just lift. There. There's no power left. I can even do it this way, but there's a lot of play, see? But you just lock it right here. You create a base. He can't fight you no more. And you really want to jam it in. Pull at the fulcrum out first before you push the lever in. But don't do this like this, too much play. Dig in. Push this part in. Yeah. I'm just holding here, change the angle. Another way is, a lot of the time in a fighting position, the guy's hands are open this way. Whatever hand is closer to this hand, as soon as you grab it right here, this way, you can use this as the fulcrum, knife part of your hand, or else you can grab this way. That's all. You don't have to use 4 fingers, you can use only 1 if you want to. See right here? It's just this 2 is all. Up, up, up. A man is on his toes, he has no power, there's no stability, he's very weak. And pushing up this way, he can't escape. But this way you want him down, face the palms down. You want him up, face the palms up. Or else you can grab 1 finger this way. Like a person choking me, a breakaway, 1 finger. One more time. Breakaway right here. I don't push my hand towards him, I always push my hands together. Get his fingers open this way, I can get over and grab this one. See this way, see, right here. Go right over and catch this finger. Or from over here. This is a very good technique because you can subdue big people. Right here. Or else this way over and grab. Now bring the guy to you this way. You can move him. You get mobility. He's safe all the time because he's tight to your body. I think you do this. See? Fulcrum, dig in, palm of your hand, push back, and circle. Get him in place. You want him down, down he goes. See? You want him up, up he goes. See? You want him down, up, just pull this one, lock to your body right here, and push the palm into your body. That's when where the pain really comes on. I like to demonstrate the transitional techniques is putting all these techniques together and see what happens. You can find that you can control a man, you can stick to the man, and with much efficiency. Like first he choked me, down, up, up. Have him under control over here. Up, up. Right here, chokes, from right here. Oh. Up, oh, up. Up, up. Under control, see? Oh. Oh. Oh, up. Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up, up, up. Thank you.